Students, can you see the slide? Can anyone reply yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So very good morning to all present. So today we will continue with the resume formats. So in the previous class, we were discussing about the characteristics of resume. That is, all the information is written in points. The approach of writing is formal and objective. Then candidate's name and address is provided. Then educational qualification of the candidate is summarized. Then professional connection is described. And finally, the skills of the candidate are also explained. Then even we understood the parts of the resume also, which includes heading, career objective, then education, then special skills, abilities, and aptitude, and then achievements, accomplishments, honors. Then sometimes, if position sought, professional summary, work experience, activities and interest, and even reference. That is a very important thing. So today we will understand the three different formats of resume. The first one is called chronological resume. The second one is functional resume, and the third one is called combination resume. So before I start, I want to ask students, can you see the slide? Finally, is it audible? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Still few students. Sandra, Swapnali Desai, you should start coming at the earliest. Okay. Yashaswini, good morning. Okay. Now today we will try to understand in detail the three different formats of resume. The first one is concerned chronological resume. See, the majority of the resumes follow the chronological format because it is the easiest type of document both to create and to read. The chronological resume lists the candidate's responsibilities, skills, then accomplishments, and work history by highlighting the most recent position and working backward to include all relevant employment. I'm using the word by highlighting the most recent position and working backward to include all the relevant employment, right? That is chronological. So we will start from the most recent and then go backwards, right? Then the second one is called functional resume. The functional format is ideal for the individuals who are actually looking to change careers. It allows for shifts in professional goals by moving the focus of the resume away from a linear timetable and creating a solid foundation of transferable skills taken from any sources. The very important thing is this format can be a great asset to many job seekers. Why? Because it allows the students to highlight the experience that are not limited to previous paid employment, right? So these flexible sections allow the candidate to prioritize the subheadings to tailor a resume effectively according to his or her needs. The functional resume, however, is not the ideal format for the professionals with continuous work histories who are looking for employment or advancement in the same field or a similar field. Okay. Then the third resume format is called the combination resume. See, the combination format also allows professionals to apply for a broader range of jobs that does the restrict chronological format. The combination resume has been a successful choice for consultants as a strong work history is backed by individual success at the specific companies or while overseeing key projects. So students, one important thing is the combination resume highlights the key strengths of both the chronological format as well as the functional format. Okay, allowing a job seeker to emphasize both a steady work history and the diverse skill sets. So, although all good resumes meet these qualifications to a certain extent, the goal of the combination format is to showcase both a consistent employment record and a specific list of skill sets, incorporating a sound time frame to serve as the backbone of the resume. Demonstrating to an employer how candidates' skills directly resulted in accomplishments for the company in both the skill set section and the work history section is the defining characteristic of the combination resume. See, the major emphasis of this resume is on the specific skills he can bring to a future employer. Then we have the advantages and disadvantages of each format of resume. We will try to understand one by one. Now, first we'll understand the advantages of chronological resume. See, in case of chronological resume, as everybody knows, it calls the attention to a stable work history or employers with a strong name recognition. Then it even demonstrates the upward mobility and promotions in the course of a single career path. Because the moment you hold the resume, so it will tell the complete story of yours. The last work is concerned from there up to the backward thing, okay? And it is favored by employers for the purpose of making comparisons. Got it? Then we have the second type that is called as functional resume. Some of the major advantages of functional resume include they are future oriented and they emphasize the potential an applicant can bring to a new employer as opposed to what he or she has accomplished in the past. And they even highlight the responsibilities and accomplishments that are not associated with the recent positions or even were derived from the unpaid work. So they are very much ideal for the career changers, those who want to change their career. Then the third one, that is a combination resume. The advantage of this combination of a resume is concerned, as everybody knows, it is like combine the defining strength of chronological and functional resumes. A steady work history and diverse skill sets can be attained at this type of the resume format. Then allows a broader range of professional objectives than does the strict chronological resume. Then it is great for the consultants because it specifies how they influence the business success. Okay, so these are in the examination they can ask you explain the resume formats with their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, now we will try to understand the disadvantages of each type of resume format. Chronological resume is concerned, some of the major disadvantages are, see students, every method will be having its own pros and cons. So we'll try to understand the both advantages as well as disadvantages. So whenever we get the proper, it all depends on the situation when we are using that particular resume format. Okay. See, chronological resume, some of the major disadvantages include the candidate's most recent experience has to be relevant to the job for which he is applying. This is very important, students. See what happens in chronological resume. So we will be highlighting the very recent job. From their backward experience we will start, right? But if someone is applying for a job which is not actually matching with his immediate past experience, right? So always remember the first impression is the best impression. So the candidate's most recent experience has to be relevant to the job for which he is applying. So in this case, what you can do is you can use the functional or combination format. Okay. Then the second one we'll take is functional resume. So some of the major disadvantages could be they can be rejected when the prospective employers expect to see chronological lists of responsibilities and accomplishments linked to the specific positions. And even they emphasize a specific skill set rather than candidate's career path. They should not be used if he is applying for a position in the same field as his current position. Okay. Then the third, that is resume format, the disadvantage is concerned. If they're applying for positions in multiple industries, skill sections and accomplishment bullets may have to be reorganized and tweaked accordingly. Then conservative employers may desire the chronological resume, especially for the executives. So after understanding the meaning of resume, then understanding the advantages and the disadvantages of each type of resume format. So there are some do's and don'ts of preparing the good resume. So first we will try to understand the do's and then we will go for the don'ts. So here, instead of me simply speaking about the do's, I want students to tell what are the good do's and don'ts of a resume. See, all of you know by this time, the main purpose of a good resume is to provide all the information that is related to a particular candidate in the proper sequence. Correct? So it helps an employer to judge the candidature of a job seeker in few minutes and accepting or rejecting a candidate accordingly. So if a candidate writes a resume in a suitable and a standard form, it obviously no, it increases the chances of getting a career opportunity, and he or she can easily fetch that particular job. Correct? Now my question to you is, what could be some of the do's and don'ts of preparing good resume? First, we'll discuss the do's. So yes, anybody? Any student want to discuss here the do's and don'ts of good resume? First, we will discuss do's, at least one point, and then we will go for don'ts. So expect students to speak on this line, that is do's of a good resume. Or according to you, what exactly is a good resume? Yes, any student? Swapnali Desai? Tejasvi?
So, resume it should be of 2 pages,
Huh.
and in resume we should highlight the positive accomplishments like achievements,
Hmm.
and even we have to provide the information in a short and concise way that the by reading only they can understand. It should not be complicated, and
Okay, very good. Very good. Yashaswani, in a nutshell basis, she mentioned the do's of a good resume. Yeah, let me summarize that. The objective should be clear, and all the positive attributes related to the academics or the professional skills should be summarized. And the special achievements should be mentioned in the resume. And the career objective should be clearly mentioned by giving the details about the professional activities. Then, if you have any special experience, even that has to be mentioned. And very important, students, uh, the grammatical mistakes should be avoided. So, grammatical mistakes or spelling mistakes. Sometimes what happens is, for when you prepare your own resume, you feel that it is correct, but when you show to others, they will point out the mistakes which you have not noticed. Okay, you might have not noticed that, but others will easily point that. So better is, when once you resume when once you prepare your resume, so show it to your teachers, so that if any mistakes are there, that will be highlighted and you can rectify it before sending it to the organization. So now we will discuss the don'ts. So which are the things that has to be avoided? The things that has to be avoided, or what according to you should not be there in the resume? Anybody? Vani Podar? Tanvi? Am I audible? Vani, yeah, Vani is speaking. Yes, Vani, go ahead.
Um, so proper grammatical mistake, no, and
Hmm.
spelling.
Okay, just now I mentioned that. Any other point you want to add apart from whatever things I have not mentioned?
No, sir.
Okay. Sandra, okay, Yashaswini has replied. Sir, objective should not be too long. Very good. Objective should not be too long. Yes, in fact, correct. Perfect. Yes, Sia Parab, we will give opportunity to all. Shweta Desai, I want everyone to speak, no? This already you have prepared your resume. So I'm just asking you what according to you should not be there in your resume or some of the don'ts. Anisha Nayak, so we have to even provide the information about the skills which okay. Ayushi, today all are silent. Huh? Divya Patil, Kedar.
Sir,
Yes, tell me, Madhivya.
sir, personal information must not be too long, sir.
Okay. Personal information should not be too long. Okay.
And the resume must be in the format only step by step, sir.
Okay. Shweta has replied, good, Divya. Do not use unusual formatting for the resume. Okay. Okay. Now, some of the don'ts, let me summarize what you people have told. Um, See, major mistake. What you people have, what people will do is resume should not be handwritten. That is the first point. It has to be typed in a systematic way, and each point should be having the continuation over there. That is very important. From one point to the other point, there should be a continuation. And the very important thing is you should put your details. So please understand this, students. You should always put your details. You should not copy and paste from some other resume. So some other objective, some objective is there in the resume. Just directly Control A, Control C, and Control V into your particular resume. That is absolutely wrong, right? So the objective should be yours, and all the information which you are providing in the resume should be true. So you cannot simply put a fabrication of the data or falsification of data. You cannot put that. And one more thing, what I've seen is some students they use colorful papers also. So that should be avoided, right? See, colorful paper should not be used for writing a resume. And there should be even a continuity in one's work experience. That is, there must not be any gaps between the jobs. And irrelevant information should not be mentioned, like your personal information too long someone told, or your too personal information should not be mentioned over there. Only if it is asked during the interview you can tell, right? So these are some of the do's and don'ts of resume. And apart from that, what majority of the HRs who will come for the interview will be saying is whether how much you are interested or how much you want that particular job, how much hunger you have to get that particular job. So if you are more serious, so what you do is you will be having a perfect resume. That means there will not be any kind of mistakes. You'll try to avoid that. See, and one important thing is always remember this: the first impression is the best impression. So resume or this CV is concerned, it is like your first impression. So there itself, if they identify a lot of mistakes, then probably they will gauge your complete personality, right? So we should try to avoid any sort of mistakes when it comes to resume, because your complete academic related information, your career objective is concerned, your skill set is concerned, your strength is concerned, you from 10th standard to your post graduation or your degree. So you have taken a lot of effort, right? So you will be putting that entire information in a 2-page document. So you should be very, very careful when you are, putting all this information uh, in your resume. You should cross verify it. Okay, so after thoroughly understanding the resume, now we will go to the curriculum vitae, also called as CV. See, generally both CV and resumes are understood as one and are used interchangeably. But there is a difference between the both. There is a slight difference between a CV and a resume. A CV is a detailed document regarding one's qualification, work experience, then professional skills, special achievements, such as if you are published any research papers or attending some seminars in international conference. Okay, while resume is a short form and such details. Hence, accommodating numerous details will require at least 2 to 3 pages, and that is how a CV is formed. So even when it comes to designing of CV, there are few things what we have to remember. The first is the personal information, then education, then work experience, and activities. So what is this personal information? The personal information section includes the name, age, and the contact information, as well as a permanent address, which contains the applicant's telephone number with area code, fax number, and email address. Okay. So it should be, see, so if some common mistake, again, what I've seen is student might have given some wrong address or their old residential address. Or sometimes it so happens that they'll be using 2 to 3 numbers, mobile numbers. They have given the number which they normally do not use. So this is very important and a common mistake made by the student. So when the company HR try to contact them, so then they're not reachable. The candidates are not reachable sometimes, right? So we have to give a proper information here when it comes to personal information. Then education is concerned. See, this is again one more important thing. Always give the true information, because suppose when once you are selected, again the verification happens, right? So when once the verification happens, even there is a slight mistake in your percentage or in your marks, so the company can reject you. So the best thing is always be truthful, be always be genuine, give genuine information, right? So education is concerned, we need to include specific details about our educational qualification and professional training, and always the name of the degree certificate that you have received in reverse chronological order, along with the name and location of the school or university or institute attended, and very important, date of the year of passing, the major areas of the study. You may even also mention your grade point average if it is on the higher side. Better, what do not mention on the poor grade, like how the recent education of yours is concerned, MBA. No, first highlight MBA, then university, then year of passing, then you can even mention your major specialization. So you can mention like finance. Since you had dual specialization in the bracket, you can mention dual specialization also. Then finally, the grade or the CGPA. Then comes BCom, BBA, BCA, or any other degree, BE. Okay. Then finally, your 12th as well as the 10th. Then the next point is work experience. See, this part of your curriculum vitae should provide details of your work and the professional experience. And then you need to mention the job title, name of the organization, the name of the employer, and the dates of employment. So first you start from the latest one or the immediate previous one, right? Your post is concerned. What was your immediate or the past post before coming here? So you have to mention like HR manager, and the organization or company, like you can mention whichever organization you are working. So period, from when to when you are working over there. Okay. And some can include one more column, like the major responsibilities in that particular organization, right? Then we have the activities. See, activities means This include the co-curricular and extracurricular activities, interest, hobbies, memberships of the learned societies. Then finally, the other information. See, why this is very important, these activities are concerned. So companies or even the public sector units will be having their own clubs over there. So if you are a university blue in say badminton or in cricket, you can highlight that. So company can include your name in their clubs also. So you will be highlighted over there, and you will be considered as a overall a good employee, because you are even representing your organization in the sports or any other activities, and even you will be working in the organization. So before going to weighted application blanks, so first let me ask all of you the difference between the biodata, CV, and resume. So what is that? I expect at least one or two difference from you people now. The major difference, what you have understood between the biodata, CV, and resume? Anybody? You can even write in the chat box.
Hello.
Vani Podar, yeah.
Biodata contains personal information more, sir. And
Okay.
resume is prepared by the freshers.
Hmm.
CV for the experienced persons. In more than one or two companies, they have experience. They prepare it.
Okay. So let me what Vani told. Let me have a meaningful sentence. A resume consists of a brief summary about the candidate's educational qualification, work experience, if any, or if he's a fresher, okay, educational qualification, most uh, recent education which was done by him or her. The resume help employer to shortlist the candidate for further process of selection. Whereas CV is concerned, curriculum vitae, it lists the educational qualification and the projects undertaken by the candidate. It also includes the details of the previous work experience along with the designation held in the job roles. It also includes the person's certification and achievements also. So curriculum vitae includes all the information which a resume contain and even above it in a detailed manner. So am I correct? No. Then biodata, as Vani told, emphasizes on biological information of an individual like name, age, gender, religion, parents information, which is of no use in an individual's professional world. Thus, a biodata provides a lesser information about a person's career. Among the three, biodata is the shortest one, or it's a one-page document, or a detail. It's not so detailed compared to CV. Any other difference you want to highlight, students? Yes. Okay. Now let me ask. Suppose I'm a fresher and I'm applying for a job. Suppose I'm a fresher and I'm applying for a job. I use what? Resume or CV or biodata?
Resume.
Resume. Correct. So especially for applying in the entry level in an organization, so where the experience and skill sets are more important than educational qualification, resume is preferred. Okay, perfect. Now we'll go to weighted application blanks. That is called as WAB. That is the best known technique for identifying the factors that differentiate between the successful and the less successful employees. Now, what is this? It involves the first selecting an employee characteristic to be measured, identifying which questions predict the desired employee behavior, determining the questions relative predictive power, assigning weighted values to each relevant question. And what is the purpose of this WAB, that is weighted application blanks? To make the application form more job related, because it adds numeric values or weights to response provided by the applicants. To help employers make preliminary judgments about the applicants they consider unqualified for open positions and those they believe should continue in the selection process. To ensure that the review of the application is objective and provides a more objective way to initially compare applicants' qualifications. To determine whether various specific levels of education, experience, etc., are related to a person's ability to perform a job effectively. To gain other important information such as equal employment opportunity, then affirmative action information, then reference information, and even supplementary details on which to focus during the selection of an interview. So this is about weighted application blanks. Now, very important, students, as an HR, spotting personality patterns. So some of the basic assumptions are there are patterns in people behavior. They can be seen in the past performance, and they will be there in the future too. The same thing. Now, how to spot the personality of an individual? See, remember, the way you comb your hair, tells your personality. The way you sit in the interview will tell your personality. The way your handwriting is there, it will tell your personality. So each and every trait, if you summarize, we can predict your personality, whether you are, whether you have a positive attitude or whether you are negative attitude. So when I say positive or negative, one thing I want to highlight here is some people, if you tell something, okay, I want this to be submitted today. I want this work or this task to be submitted within this week. The moment you tell to them, they say, no, it's not possible. See, the moment you tell to them, they say, no, it's not possible to do within a day or within this week. It will take minimum 1 month. See, that shows what? That you are without any calculation. How can you tell that it is not possible? So because their personality is like that, right? The moment you tell anything, they say, no, it's not possible. So in your daily life also, you have experienced certain friends or you have come across certain people who always will be telling no or speaking negative, right? Because it is their personality. So how you can identify them whether they are positive or negative? So the first thing is by their body language, right? By their body language, by the way they dress. If for some people, if you give any task and tell them it has to be completed within 1 hour, so though they know that it cannot be done in 1 hour, they say, okay, sir, let me try, sir. Sir, I will do it, sir. Let me try to finish it, sir. See how positively you can tell. So even the same thing happens in interviews also. So the work interviewers have done by determining the qualities they are looking for prior to the interview. So students, these are called as a behavioral approach to recruitment. Behavioral approach. So understanding one's behavior, it's an art basically. Right? So behavioral screening takes a critical view of recruitment and assessment that is modeled closely on the best practices such as capital asset acquisition. So companies that use behavioral screening displays a strong sense of direction. So they have reached a common understanding about the state of the organization, prioritized the challenges, distilled the specific behavioral competencies required, and validated them in a clear and consistent process. See, what happens, students, is why this behavioral approach is important is, so in a group of people who are very positive, if you put one guy or girl who is negative, so she or he may destroy the entire team, right? So it is like one rotten egg can completely make the good eggs also rotten, right? In the same way. So they will see the patterns begin to emerge and they will know the hot areas or red flags to watch for, along with the past experiences that reveal the way each candidate has handled difficult situations. So let me take the first point. There are patterns in people behavior. So what do you mean by that? If interviewer looks closely at the behavior of a person over time, a number of patterns begin to emerge. There are common threads there running through what the person does on a day-to-day basis and from one situation to another. A person may avoid taking risk. This is very, very interesting, no? So a person may avoid taking risk. Example, uh, given any situation, he or she will always not act as a captain, will not act as a leader. So always tackle, deal with the people, be a bit careless with detail. Do not tackle with the problems aggressively or have difficulty standing back and seeing always standing back. So the pattern will not always be there. A person who is aggressive and domineering by nature may not act that way when he or she is dealing with the visiting director in from head office. Then the second one is they can be seen in past performance. Very, very interesting, no? So if the interviewer looks closely enough at a person's performance, he will see the patterns showing through. At times, they will be obvious simply because they are shown so often and so consistently, but other times he will have to dig pretty deep. So interviewer, what he'll do is he will notice one person has been consistently cautious and conservative in making career moves, and even he'll try to see the connections too. The meticulous person who is good with detail may also tend to talk on and about things, wandering away from the main point or the original question. The person who is good at organizing things at work will probably tend to be well organized at home as well. The interviewer will see it in how they organize in a overall every day-to-day routine work. And then the last point, that is they will be there in the future. See, here's another important point. These patterns of behavior, usually learned early on in a person's life, do not usually change unless something very deliberate is done to change them. See, those patterns will still be there. We cannot change it very often, right? See, the patterns what you have studied in the history tends to be in the future also. For example, so I'll be just telling all of you, you should be very active throughout your day. Start exercise. So exercise makes your body and mind fit, right? But every day you have to train your mind to get up early in the morning and go to bed early in the night. But what happens is some people I have seen, in spite of telling many times, they'll train their mind that I should get up at 8:30 or 9 in the morning, right? And then they will be sleeping sleeping very late in the night, doing nothing. So they tend to develop that lethargic attitude. We call it as a lethargic attitude. So initially, what happens is they train their mind and body to be lazy. So automatically, when you start working, also the same thing continues in the working environment too. So if your higher ups give you some challenging thing, you will say, no, it's not possible for me. No, it is time consuming. No, it cannot be achieved. Why? Because of your attitude, what you have developed over the years. So it all basically depends on how you train your mind and body. That is very important. So these are some of the key to selecting people, looking for the behavioral patterns that have characterized them in the past and acting on the assumption. See, I'm repeating, acting on the assumption that these same patterns will continue to be in the future. In doing this, interviewers are relying on the fact that these basic patterns seldom change spontaneously, and that what a person has done in the past is therefore the best predictor of what he or she will do in the future. Okay. So before going for targeting interview, I'll stop the session here. In the next class, I'll be continuing the targeted interviewing. These are very, very interesting things. So you can enjoy this only when you start actually working, understanding one's behavior. So understanding the personality of an individual, especially for HR students, it's an art. So you have to start building it. Okay. So once again, I thank all of you for being good listeners. So thank you so much and have a great day. We will continue with the class with the targeted interviewing in the next class. Okay. So thank you so much. Have a great day to all of you. Bye bye and take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.